Just imagine you took a wrong turn and lost in a forest where you have to stand all night long in order to survive. This is the movie recap of the recent movie The Watchers. Let's get started. Meena, a young woman who lives a lonely life with no friends and family except her sister. She works at a pet store and one day her boss asks her to take a parrot to the zoo. On her way to the zoo, she accidentally takes a wrong turn and ends up in a dense forest. Her car breaks down and she encounters a sign saying point of no return. Lost and scared, Meena meets a white-haired woman, Madeline, who leads her to a shelter. Inside the shelter, Meena meets Claire and Daniel. Madeline explains that they are watched every night by mysterious watchers who live in the forest. Anyone who leaves the shelter at night is killed by these watchers. Madeline explains that during the day, they can roam the forest, but they must return to the house before the nightfall to stay safe. During the day, the watchers hide in caves, coming out only at night. The group spend their day finding food and trying to understand their situation. Meena and Daniel decide to explore one of the caves in the forest. Daniel ties a rope around Meena and she descends into the hole, discovering human belongings and a camera. They bring the items back to the house and lie to Madeline about where they found them. They put the camera on the doors to see who are the watchers. At night, they see Claire's husband on the camera, but Madeline warns them it's a trick by the watchers. Claire tests him with a question only her husband would know, and when he fails, they realize it's not really him. The watchers become enraged, but the group survives by standing in front of the mirror. As winter arrives, tension rises in the shelter. Claire misses her husband more deeply and Daniel becomes increasingly aggressive. One day, Claire tells Meena she wants to go to the bed where her husband is. Meena stops her, but then they hear Daniel's voice. They find Daniel has tied Madeline to a tree and runs away. Claire chases after Daniel while Meena frees Madeline. As the sun sets, they head towards the shelter, but Daniel has already taken Claire inside and locked the door. Madeline and Meena hide from the watchers. When the watchers don't see them there, they run to find them. Later, they return to the shelter and convince Daniel to unlock the door. Daniel finally opens the shelter. Madeline reveals that she came to the place in search of fairies, but then she realizes these are monsters who can shapeshift and imitate humans. Since the group has broken the watchers' rule, the watchers attempt to break the mirror. Suddenly, the group discover a bunker under the floor. This bunker has everything needed to survive. They find an old computer with some data. They discover that the bunker was created by a professor who studied the Watchers. He explains that the Watchers were initially fairies who can come out only at night, but he found one different fairy that could come out even in sunlight. She was different from the others, and he took that fairy into the bunker. He also left cues for escaping the forest. He instructs that to escape, they need to go to the location where he left his boat by the river. The professor mentioned that any bird can guide them to the river. With the help of Meena's parrot, they head towards the river. They finally reach the boat, but suddenly Daniel's old friend asks for his help. Unfortunately, he turns out to be a watcher and kills Daniel. Meena, Madeline, and Claire manage to escape in the boat. Meena investigates the professor's research, discovering that fairies had relationship with humans, producing shape-shifting offspring. She gets shocked when she learns that Madeline was actually a fairy all along. She was the daughter of the professor and the another unique fairy.